Ladies and gentlemen, giant round of applause for Alice and Mitaka. They fucking killed it. Guys, my name is Donald. Love your beautiful faces. Thank you so much for coming out this evening, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Now, I've been in Bulgaria for 4.5 years now, which makes me an elder foreigner, guys. Anyone that's been longer than that? Yeah? How long have you been here? 6. Okay, still elder foreigner, slightly more elder. Anyone over 6 years? How many for you? 8. Okay, so we're pushing like retirement foreigner, all right. Anything over 8? No, 8 is the most? Oh wait, I'm sorry. You 20-something. Is that you? Grandpa foreigner. How 20-something, what brought you here? What did you just say?
Cost me karma or something?
It cost you karma to come here? Is that? I'm going to repeat my question because I don't think you understood. Why did you come here? Not what it cost you to come here. Why did you come here?
Would you trust me it hasn't been my decision?
It wasn't your decision. And 20 years later, you still can't leave? All right. 20 years, guys. 20 years. Fantastic. Now let's go the other way. Who's been here less than 4 years? Make some noise if you've been here less than 4 years. All right. How long? 2 years. 2 years. Okay. So shifting from like teenager to like adult foreigner. We love to see it. Anything less than 2 years, guys? 6 months. Wow. How's it been? Great. I mean, great. What brought you here, bro?
I met this other woman right here.
Ah, okay. And how has he been for the last 6 months? So we went from great to good. What's been some of your favorite things about being here? What'd you say?
Cheap.
It's cheap. Of all the things that went through your head, I'm saving money. Wonderful. Has anyone been here less than 6 months? No. Okay, you win. Congratulations. But like I said, guys, I have been here for 4.5 years. And as an elder foreigner, that means I now have a responsibility to new foreigners in the country, guys. And I have a new friend. He's been here 2 months. Baby foreigner. Super cute, guys. Super cute. And we were going to a party, and then we walked by a nonstop. He was like, wait, hold up really quick. I need to run in there and buy some rakia for this party. And this was an elder foreigner teaching moment, guys. Because I grabbed him, and I was like, no, we do not buy rakia in Bulgaria. You get rakia from someone's uncle in a village. That's how things work here. And he said, Donald, I've been here 2 months. I don't have an uncle in a village yet. And I said, yes, but you're a foreigner. So here's how this works. You go to a village, you hang out for a while. The villagers will start talking to you. They have nothing better to do, guys. And at some point, one of them will ask you, what do you like about living in Bulgaria? And you're honest. You say, lutanitsa. Shopska salata. In your case, it's cheap. And then you also say, rakia. And when you say rakia, one of the uncles will pop up and be like, you actually like rakia? I love rakia. In that case, perhaps you'd like to try some of my rakia. And then when the uncle says that, you watch as he reaches under his chair, pulls out a 2-liter Coke bottle with a Fanta cap, and then pours you a Guliama chasha. And then after you try, he's like, well, what'd you think? And once again, guys, you answer honestly. You say, it's delicious. And then the uncle goes, perhaps you'd like several liters of my rakia. And that's how you get rakia as a foreigner in Bulgaria, guys. You're welcome. But guys, one of my favorite aspects of Bulgarian culture is Bulgarian weddings. If you're a foreigner and you've never been to a Bulgarian wedding, find you some friends who are getting hitched and go. It's like an 8-hour nonstop party. You will not be disappointed. However, and now I'm talking to all the Bulgarians in the audience, if you're bringing a foreigner for the first time to a Bulgarian wedding, you need to warn us, okay? Because we are not ready for the horo. All right? You take us over to the side and you go, hey. At some point, some music is gonna start playing, okay? And everyone's gonna form in a line. You stick yourself at the end of that line, all right? This is not an insult. This is for your safety, okay? Because I did not know that, guys. And I was at my first Bulgarian wedding, and I'm having a good time dancing, drinking, and then suddenly this music starts playing. And immediately, every single aunt in the room pops up and heads towards the dance floor. And I get super excited, guys, because in American weddings, the best dances of the night are like the hustle, the cha-cha slide. These are the ones all the aunts get up for. And I'm stoked because I'm about to learn the Bulgarian version of that. So I run out there and I stick myself between 2 ants. I know. And guys, in that moment, I think I'm being cute. Like, I'm like, oh, здравейте, аз съм Donald, приятно ми е, как се казвате? And they're like, ah, and then they latch onto me. And I'm like, what's up? And then we start dancing, guys. And at first, it's going okay. I'm keeping up. However, I did not realize a traditional horo does not end. We horoed for 25 minutes, guys. And I went into this thinking I'm in like decent shape. These 65-year-old aunts horoed me into the ground, guys. At the end, I'm not even dancing, I'm just getting dragged along. Till mercifully, the music stops and they bring me over and they dump me in a chair. And they're just like, you are a nice boy. Not strong boy, but nice boy. Thank you. Last summer, I actually got to be a groomsman in a Bulgarian wedding, which was super fun. Yeah, and during that time, I got introduced to your wonderful tradition of stealing of the bride. For any foreigners in the audience who are unfamiliar with this tradition, the name, very intense. The actual tradition, very sweet. The way it works is the bridesmaids line up and they have different tests that the groom has to pass to show he's worthy of his betrothed. And at the end, the bride is still in a room behind a door, and all the groomsmen throw in some extra money as an additional wedding gift to show he can take care of her. But then that's still not good enough, but to show he can't live without her, they break down the door and then carry her off to the wedding. And it's all done in good fun, guys, and it's very sweet. I was given none of that context. I'm at this wedding hanging out, what I think is still several hours before the ceremony, and then one of the groomsmen runs over, he's like, Donald. I'm like, what's up, bro? He's like, okay, we're gonna try to buy the bride. When that doesn't work, we're gonna kidnap her. And I said, why? Tradition. And there's moments as a foreigner where you run into things in conflict with the morals and values you were raised with. For example, kidnapping a woman. But you also don't want to be the foreigner that makes things weird. So you hear yourself say, "Let's get her!" And then we head over, and I'm the way they explained what the hell was going on. I was like, oh, thank God. But then, like I said, the actual tradition was very sweet. The first bridesmaid, she hands him a broom. He had to prove he knew how to sweep up around the house. At the second level, he had to describe how he would take care of his betrothed after she had had a really, really long day at work. At the third level, he had to recite her favorite poem, and he's passing with flying colors, guys. And then we reach the door, and all the groomsmen start pulling out some cash to throw in. And I have no idea what a socially appropriate amount is. But one was like, "Dad, throw in some money, throw in some money." I'm like, okay. And I pull out my wallet, and I go, "How much?" And I watch as one of them just grabs my wallet, shoves it in a boot, and then chucks it through the door. My passport was in that. And then we pushed open the door, we ran inside and carried the bride away. And then later at the wedding, I see them like, guys. Oh, today was so much fun. Thank you so much for inviting me. You look gorgeous. Quick question. Have you seen like a size 42, 44 size black boot? I have some legal documents in it. They were not a gift. But after 4.5 years, guys, I have put in some effort into learning the Bulgarian language. And one of my favorite aspects of this journey has been learning words and phrases in Bulgarian that don't work in English. I recently learned the phrase pushka sam. Now, the correct translation into English is like, "I'm on top of the world, everything's perfect, couldn't be happier." The literal translation is, "I'm a gun." And the first time I heard that, my initial reaction as an American was, hey, whoa, hold up. That's our thing, Bulgaria. Another fun aspect of the Bulgarian language is if you ask someone if they have a pen, they'll respond with, "Da, imam hili kalkavov men." The literal translation of that into English is, "Yes, I have a pen in me." And the main problem with that is you Bulgarians, even when speaking English, use the literal translation. And if I ask you if you have a pen and you respond with, "Yeah, I have a pen in me," I don't want that pen anymore, guys. I mean, I guess it depends who it's in. No, I don't want the pen. I don't want the pen. But according to me, the most dangerous word in the Bulgarian language is love as an English speaker. Because there's two ways to say love in Bulgarian. The first is lubov. I like lubov. It's similar to love, it's nice. The second is oh bitch. Oh bitch. Oh bitch. Thank you. And I remember lying in bed with my Bulgarian girlfriend and asking her for the first time how you say love in Bulgarian. And she was like, "Oh, bitch." And I was like, that can't be a thing. And I looked it up and I was like, love is oh, bitch. And the biggest problem with this word, guys, is as I've got more comfortable with Bulgarian, I've gotten very comfortable with saying like, "Oh, ti si moja bitch, you're my love." But if we're having an argument and I don't pronounce that perfectly, now we're having a fight, guys. But I have a favorite phrase in Bulgarian, and that phrase is "bole me fara." Now, the way I learned that phrase was I asked my Bulgarian coworker, "Georgi, where do you want to go for lunch?" "Bole me fara, bro." And I was like, "Ooh, new Bulgarian. What's bole me fara mean?" And he sat there for a little while. And he then was like, it's kind of like a rude way of saying I don't care. Like, it basically means, like, I don't give a fuck. And I was like, cool, bole me fara, bole me fara, bole me fara. So far means fuck, right? And he said, no, far means lighthouse. Georgi, what am I saying right now? Well, the literal translation is, my lighthouse hurts. Which prompted me to ask, how does that mean I don't care? And he was like, no, bro. That's the literal translation. It's a slang phrase. The slang is, my dick hurts. Which once again prompted me to ask, how does that mean I don't care? Because Bulgaria, if your dick hurts, you should care. Bole me far. My favorite expression in English is, you reap what you sow. And the reason that's my favorite is because my wonderful Bulgarian girlfriend wrote me that one time, but she did not spell reap R-E-A-P. She spelled it R-A-P-E. And that's not the same thing, guys. So I called her up to make sure she hadn't been saying this to people. And before I could say anything, she was like, how do you spell that stupid word? It's like, not like that, sweetie. We've been together 7 years now, guys. Thank you. Thank you. And it's better being in a relationship. It is. However, if there's one thing I sincerely miss about being single, guys, it's when I was a single lad and I would go out to a restaurant to eat, all the food I ordered was my food. Because anyone who's been in a relationship over 2 months knows there's a switch that happens where my food becomes our food. And previously, when I would go out to eat, I'd ask myself 2 questions, guys. What do I want to eat? How hungry am I? And not to brag, but I nailed those questions every single time, guys. Now, when we go out to eat, I ask myself, what do I want to eat? How hungry am I? What does she want to eat? How hungry is she? How much of my food do I think she's going to eat? How much of her food is she expecting me to eat? Are we getting dessert? Is the dessert just for her? Or are we sharing the dessert? Or does she just want a taste and I'm expected to finish this dessert that I didn't even want? So the math has gotten a little more complicated, guys. And admittedly, this was bothering me way more than it should have been early on in our relationship. Till finally one day I was like, I'm gonna say something. Quick tip for all you single young lads out there. If you find yourself in a relationship one day and you think, I'm gonna say something, don't. Okay? Stay happy, guys. Stay happy. Because we went out to dinner and we ordered food, our food arrives, and it comes out. I was like, hey, babe, how about tonight you eat what you ordered because that's what you want, and I eat what I ordered because that's what I want, because it really bothers me when we have to share all our food. And there was a moment of silence, kind of like now. And then she smiled at me in a way that didn't make me feel safe. And then she reached over, picked up my burger, took a big bite, swallowed, looked me in the eyes and said, Donald, bole me fara. I've started going to the gym recently, guys. Wedding season's coming up. Gotta get in shape for the horo. But you got to be careful which gym you choose to be your gym, guys. because I just went to my local gym. And I didn't realize that it was a traditional Balkan gym till I walked through the door. And if you don't know what I mean by that, I mean botkas, as far as the eye can see. If you do not know the word botka, it's Bulgarian for basically like gym bro or meathead. Like the super jacked dudes with like the tribal tattoos who don't smile because their muscles are too big. Like those guys. And I walk into this gym, and they're on all the machines, and they're lifting the metal, and I didn't feel like I belonged, mainly because I am not a botka. But I had a moment, guys, I'll be honest with you, where I was like, this is not the gym for me. I'm gonna go find another gym. But then I was like, no. You got off the couch, you decided you're gonna work out, you made it to the gym, at least do a workout, and then leave. And I'm like, okay. But I'm gonna go in a corner where I'm not gonna bother anyone, and I'm just gonna do some squats to warm up, because like how many wrong ways can you do a squat? Yeah, all of them basically are wrong. Yeah. So I start squatting, and I hit my second squat, and then I just hear no, and I look over, and a Baka's running at me, and he's like, stop! And I'm like, what's up, bro? And he's like, dude, you're isolating your core. Your back's not straight. Your knees are in front of your feet. If you keep doing it this way, you can't walk tomorrow. And then I had to awkwardly explain to him, I know how to do a squat. I'm just not physically strong enough right now to do one. And then he looked me in the eyes, and he's like, in this gym, we help each other. And then he came behind me, guys, and he held me while we did squats, so I had the right form. And as I'm sitting in this botka's arms, I realize, guys, botkas are just misunderstood. They're mountains of muscle with hearts of gold underneath. And as I left my gym that day, I made a vow. And that vow was to start a new holiday here in Bulgaria. Adopt a botka day. If you do not know where to find a botka, go to your local protein shop. Buy the biggest jug you can, go on a street corner, open it up, eventually one will come running. You give them the protein, you go to your local park, you have a beer, they'll make a protein shake. They'll tell you how to use the machines at the gym. And you'll tell them about something important in your life, guys. And we'll understand each other a little bit more. And the world will become a slightly better place. Adopt a botka day. I'm working on the screenplay for that right now. You'll see commercials with The Rock and Kevin Hart this fall. But as a comedian, I sometimes audition for commercials. And my first commercial I ever got in Bulgaria was for a little company called Billa. Mixed feelings about Billa, okay. But I go to the audition, it also was my first audition here, and I walk in, and they're like, okay, so we want you to pretend to catch a ball and then look excited. I was like, that's it? And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay. And they're like, great, thank you. We'll call you next week if you got the part. And I was like, that's it? And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay, bye. And then they called me next week, and they're like, the director loved it. They want to cast you. And I was like, oh, my God. This might be my big break. So I was like, I got to take this really seriously. So I went out, and I bought a tennis ball. And I spent 30 minutes a day in front of the mirror practicing faces and catching. Maybe that's too much. Too little. Just right. And then, even the day of shooting, guys, I was supposed to be there at 7. I was there 6:45. And I meet the director, and I'm like, hey, I'm super excited to be here. I don't know if you have a ball. I brought my own ball. I'm more comfortable with it, but I'd be more than happy to practice with your ball. And he's just staring at me. He's like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about right now. And I was like, well, like, I auditioned for excited ball catcher man role. And he was like, oh, okay, no. We just wanted you to do something in the audition to see if we liked your face. That's not what you're doing in the commercial. And at the time, I didn't know that that was a very normal practice, because if you don't get cast, they don't want you to know what the commercial is actually about. But in that moment, very mixed feelings. On one hand, had spent a week staring at my own face in the mirror. On the other hand, I felt quite pretty. But then I'm like, well, then what is this commercial about? He's like, come with me. And he takes me to the set, and it's like a rich person's dining room. Like there's a table that seats 20, there's a fireplace, a giant oriental rug, and then a full-size grand piano. And on top of this piano is a pyramid made out of cans of Billa beans. And I look at the director and I'm like, okay, so what's up? And he's like, okay, so your role is you sit in front of the pyramid, you have a can of beans in your hand, and when we say action, you look at the can, you look back at the camera, and then you toss it off stage. I was like, that's it? He's like, that's it. I was like, okay. But guys, this could be my big break. So I'm still taking it very seriously. And I look around this set and I'm like, who is this character? And I see the empty table and the unlit fireplace and me by myself with my beans. And I was like, oh my God, I am the saddest, loneliest, richest man who invited his friends over for Bean Pyramid Night and they did not come. I should also mention I did this all in my head. So the director yells action and I'm like, and immediately he's like, cut, and then he runs out and he's like, no, you're not sad about your beans, you're proud of your beans. And then I re-looked at the set and I was like, of fucking course. I made this pyramid of beans with my own 2 hands. Why wouldn't I be proud? So they're like, action, and I was like, and they're like, cut, great. And then we did like 2 more takes of it, and they're like, it's all we need, thank you so much. And then I'm chatting with the director afterwards. He was like, you did a great job. You also like, are you new to this? You seemed a little nervous. I told him, I was like, I'll be honest with you, this is my first commercial ever. And he was like, hey, you're doing great, good instincts, man. Like, he's like, just make choices in any commercial you do. Just jump out there, do something. If they want you to change it, they'll let you know. And I was like, thank you. Because there are those moments where it's like you need some validation from someone else that what you're doing is correct. And I was like, awesome. And then fast forward a year and a half, and I got cast in a commercial for a trading company. And it's with the same director. And it's like, oh, hey, man. And like we high-fived. It was a nice moment. And then this time I have a speaking role. Moving on up in the world, guys. And the other guy, he's like, how do we know I can trust you? And they're allowing me to improvise some lines. So he's like, how do I know I can trust you? And I was like, hey, man, if you invest in us, you'll be wearing gold pajamas by the end of the week. And then like the director was like, cut, Donald, that was fun, but let's go bigger, let's go bigger. And I was like, okay. It's like, how do I know I can trust you? And I'm like, hey, you know how much you like living on ground? How about living in your own private jet 365 days a year? And the director's like, cut. He was like, okay, that was fun, but let's go bigger. And I was like, okay. And it's like, how do I know I can trust you? And I'm like, it doesn't matter, man, as long as we make a lot of fucking money! And the director goes, cut! Donald, come here. He's like, what the hell was that? I was like, I was just following my instincts. He's like, why would you do that? And I was like, hey, that's what you told me to do, man. Remember? And he was like, yeah, I just didn't think you'd look so damn beautiful while doing it. And then we kissed. No, none of that happened. He was like, hey, don't be fucking stupid next time. But sometimes you gotta make mistakes, guys, in learning in life. Like it's part of growing up. Sometimes they're mistakes you shouldn't have had to make to learn that. Like I'm a millennial, guys. Like I'm from the Jackass generation. You guys remember that show? Yeah. That was the show where one episode they had bike jousting, where the members of the show got on bikes and they jousted with each other, like people did with horses in the Middle Ages. And the show ended with all of them rolling around on the ground screaming in agony. And me and my friends in high school watched that and went, that's what we're doing this weekend. And it ended exactly the same way. But like each generation has their stupid shit they gotta get through. Like Gen Z, You guys ate Tide Pods. Like, don't get me wrong, they looked delicious, but I don't know if you needed to learn that lesson. That being said, I do want to immediately follow with, I love Gen Z. I think you're better than us millennials. You guys don't take no shit, especially with regards to social issues. And my favorite example of that for Gen Z is there's a state in America called Texas. And Texas, several years ago, passed an anti-abortion law. And not only that, they followed up by making a government whistleblower website. So if you thought someone had an abortion, you could report them on this website for the government to come and look into it and maybe arrest them. Yeah, that's some Gestapo-level shit, y'all. Information about this website went viral. Gen Z crashed this website in 24 hours, guys. Good on them. But how did they crash it? Did they protest in the streets? No. Did they call their local representatives? No. Did they boycott? No. Gen Z uploaded terabytes worth of Shrek porn to the website. That's gangster, guys. But I would like to give a little pat on the back to us millennials for making all that Shrek porn for them to use, guys. Teamwork makes the dream work, baby. My favorite thing about Shrek porn, guys, this isn't gonna get weird, calm down, is that I know like 100 years from now, it's gonna be in a museum somewhere with like a little display case thing, and it'll be like, this was the modern art of the time. Or at least in a private collection somewhere. I actually, a couple years ago, I got invited to a private art show. And what happened was I have a friend, and she's a professional painter, and they asked her if she would showcase some of her paintings. And she reached out to us immediately as her friends, and she was like, hey, they gave me some free tickets. I can invite some friends along. I don't want to be there by myself the whole time for 6 hours with all these old rich people on a Saturday night. And we were like, hey. Super proud of you. Super proud what's happening in your career. Love you. We also don't want to spend 6 hours with a bunch of rich old people on a Saturday night. And she responded with, there's an open wine bar you can drink as much as you want for free. And we said, let's watch some art. So, and to our credit, guys, like we did our best to seem like we belong there. Like we didn't show up in like torn jeans and a t-shirt and was like, wow, look at all this paint. Excuse me, can I get a Merlot, bro? Thank you. No. Put on a tie, put on a jacket, and just... So you're telling me, Reginald, that this is not a Van Gogh. Interesting. Yes, I would love a Shiraz, my good sir. Thank you. And it was going great at first, guys. But a problem popped up. And that problem is, after several glasses of wine, art starts to make sense. And you find yourself talking to the 80-year-old maitre d' of the exhibit, and words are just pouring out of your mouth, guys. And you're just like, why, yes, Gladys. I can agree that the artist's tonal shading is reminiscent of Donatello's later Renaissance work. However, if I may be so bold, if you look a little closer, I think you'll notice that the artist's use of blue is a direct copy off of the original, and is therefore reductive and have done nothing to push the art form forward. Excusez-moi, monsieur, ça va blanc, merci. But if I may continue to be bold, Gladys, the true crime this piece commits is that it dare distract away from the piece of art that is your dress. Art teaches us things about ourselves, guys. And sometimes you learn you're a gold digger. And you're way more comfortable with it than you thought you'd be. When you graduate college, that was not the career path you thought you'd find yourself on one day. When I graduated college, I had a degree in psychology. And my first job walking out the door was working in a call center. Those sad claps. Yep, some people have worked in call centers, guys. However, my call center, it wasn't a customer service call center. We did entry-level position interviews for Fortune 500 companies. So people would call in, and we would run the interview and decide whether or not they got the job. And the main thing I learned working this job was people don't know how to interview. I would ask them their name, their email address, and then the first question I asked every single person was, are you on time for work? My first fucking call on this job, guys. I get a guy on the phone. I ask him his name. I ask him his email address. I'm like, sir, are you on time for work? No. I wasn't trained for a no, guys. Even my trainers are like, no one's going to fuck that one up. So I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. I believe we had some sort of miscommunication. I'm just going to repeat the question really quick. Are you on time for work? Nah, man, I'm late consistently. Sir, we're having some sort of miscommunication. I'm going to say one more time. Are you on time for work? Bro, I'm just trying to be honest with you. Why? Lie. Get the job, man. Get the job. I had another guy call in. I asked him, are you on time for work? And he's like, how would you even define on time? But my favorite answer I ever got was I was interviewing a woman, slightly more elderly. And I was like, ma'am, are you on time for work? And she said, sweetie, I try, but sometimes God has other plans for me. I gave her the job. I was not getting between this woman and her God. But something working this job that happens is you get very good very quickly at determining whether or not people are going to pass the interview. And the best litmus test we had was someone's email address. Gmail people, get in the job. If you had a Gmail account, you had your shit together. Yahoo? Hit or miss, guys. Hit or miss. Hotmail? No one with Hotmail got the job, guys. No one with Hotmail got the job. And I had a guy call in one time, and I asked him his name, and I asked him his email address. He was like, yeah, you'll need that, won't you? It's bigbootybitches33@hotmail.com. And then per company policy, I had to repeat it back to him and spell it with the military alphabet to ensure there were no typos. So I was like, all right, sir, I just want to confirm I have bigbootybitches33@hotmail.com. That's B as in Bravo, I as in India, G as in Golf, B as in booty, B as in Bravo, O as in Oscar, O as in Oscar. And that's when he interrupted me. He was like, yeah, man, you don't need to do that. It's bigbootybitches33@hotmail.com. And I'm staring at this email. Big booty bitches 33. And I went off script. I said, sir, I have a very important question for you. Did you choose 33 because threes kind of look like butts? And he said, yeah! So now he's my personal hero, guys. I was like, I got another question for you, sir. Are you on time for work? And then there was a pause, guys. And I was like, no, don't do this to me, big booty bitches 33. And then he answered, and he said, yeah, fuck yeah, man. Shit, I'm 5 minutes early every day. I was like, yes! And then we went through the rest of the questions, and I got him that job, guys. I got him that job. I hope he's CEO of the company now and still uses that email, guy. The fact that he showed up to a job interview with that email was a failure of the American education system. Recently, I got to talk with a bunch of Bulgarian high schoolers. I have a friend, she's an English teacher here in Sofia at a Bulgarian high school, and she invited me in as a native speaker to just chit-chat with their class and answer questions. I was like, yeah, dope, it sounds super fun. Do we need to prep or make a lesson plan or anything? And she was like, no, just show up. Should have prepped, guys. Should have prepped. Because I haven't talked to high schoolers really since I was in high school. And I was not ready for it. And I show up and I have a lot of like happy energy. I'm like, hey guys, nice to meet you. My name's Donald. I've been living here for 4 years. I'm an American. You can ask me any questions about what it's like for me living here or any questions about America. There's no stupid questions, guys. And immediately my friend, the teacher, goes, yes, there are. So I'm like, all right, well, on that note, does anyone have any questions? And then a guy in the back raises his hand. I'm like, yeah, bro, go ahead. And he's like, yeah. Americans are kind of dumb. That's not a question, my man. I know. So I'm like, okay, does anyone have any questions? And the girl in the front, her hand shoots up, and I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And she's like, yeah. Okay, so are villains born or made? Well, I mean, obviously no one would choose to be a villain. So I guess means that they're born, but then can we really call them villains if they aren't choosing you? But then once again, why would you choose to, I mean, society pushes you, but then like, maybe you're just, I mean, I guess it's nature versus nurture. I don't know. Maybe we are dumb. Well, then we started asking some more questions. We got back on track. And then later, a girl raised her hand. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And she's like, okay, yeah, but what's your astrological sign? And guys, I was like, I'm a Sagittarius. That's what's up. And after I said that, yeah, Sagittarius gang, thank you. But after I said that, all 25 of them went, And I didn't know that was a test in that moment, guys. Super happy I passed. But then her hand shoots up again. I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And she's like, yeah, but what's your moon rising? And I'm like, I don't know what a moon rising is. And she's like, no, it's two things, your moon and your rising. I need to know where you were born and at what time. And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's give the answers to all my security questions to this group of teenagers. But because I can't say no to attention, I answered them. And so she looks it up, and she's like, okay, so your moon is Pisces. And they're like, And then she's like, but your rising is Aries. And as a group, they all go, no! And I'm like, no what? And they're like, you gotta go, man. You gotta go. Get out of here, man. And I'm like, whoa. Hold up, guys. Hold up. I am not a bad person because of what time I was born, okay? And they're like, yes, you are! And I'm not proud of how I responded in the next moment, guys. But the next words out of my mouth were, hey, how about y'all shut the hell up because at least I know how to drive a car. And there was a moment of silence from them. And then the kid in the back raised his hand again. And he goes, but do you know how to drive a stick shift, American? And I don't. I don't even have a car here. I take the bus. Which brings me to one of my favorite things about living in Sofia, guys. Because literally everywhere else I've ever lived, when you ride the bus, you either have to buy a ticket right at the front or there's someone on the bus at all times to check and make sure you have a ticket. Not in Sofia. In Sofia, you just get on the bus. And at each stop, there's about a 5% chance that there's checkers waiting there to see if you have a ticket. So there's two ways to ride the bus in Sofia. With a ticket and without a ticket. And there's a very different energy between these two groups, guys. This group over here, calmly enjoying public transit. This group over here, at every stop, it's like they're trying to move 5 kilos of cocaine across the border. You see them? Just shut the fuck up! Okay, all right, we're good. We're gonna do that again in 45 seconds. I'm a proud member of this group, guys. Thank you. However, if you're going to ride without a ticket, there's an etiquette, guys. There's an etiquette, okay? You place yourself next to the door because if the checkers are there, you can calmly get off and walk away, all right? Because they'll generally leave you alone. You do not put yourself in like a back corner where you suddenly look up and have to panic, kick, bite your way out. No, we don't do that, okay? Because I recently ran into someone who was not following the etiquette. And what happened was I'm riding the bus and we pull up to the stop and we see the checkers. Now I've gotten smarter about it. I carry a ticket in my pocket. And I'm like, all right, I'll pay for this ride. So I'm pulling it out, going to go punch it. And I hear feet stomping down the aisle towards me. And I turn and look, and there's a middle-aged woman with a big tote bag hauling ass in my direction. And before I have time to move at all, she slams her shoulder into my chest and knocks me out of the way. And I'm like, whoa. And then she runs down the stairs off the bus. But the problem is when she starts running down the stairs, there's already a baba coming up the steps. And I watched as she places her hand on the baba's chest and just yeets her out of the way. And then the baba lands. And in that moment, we make eye contact. And the baba goes, "Let's get this bitch." So I immediately jump down and go, "Tisi Losha," which means you are bad in Bulgarian. But I'm just chanting out, "Tisi Losha, Tisi Losha, Tisi Losha, Tisi Losha." And the woman running away stops because this foreigner's yelling at her. But it's great, guys, because it's a distraction. Because in that moment, the baba reaches into her bag and pulls out a melon she bought at the market that morning and chucks it at the woman's head. But the woman has amazing peripheral vision and sees at the last second and ducks just in time. It's fine, guys, because it's a double distraction. Donald's doing a karate kick off of the side of the bus at her. The problem is, I haven't done karate since I was 8 years old, and my mom made me go one time. So I miss her entirely and break both my legs on landing. The baba runs over, pulls out a bottle of rakia, pours it over me. I'm back up to full health, guys. But in that moment, the other woman reaches into her bag and pulls out strings of kebabche and starts wheeling them like nunchucks. And she whips them around and gets them around our neck. And I'm starting to panic, guys, because everything's going dark. The baba, she doesn't even break a sweat. Pulls out her dentures, chomps herself free, chomps me free. We make eye contact again. I kick low, the baba kicks high. We snap her in half, she's dead. We've won, guys. But guys, what was so important in that tote bag? We run on over, we open it up, it's a bomb. 5, 4, 3. The doors on the bus start to close. 2, the baba and I each grab a side. 1, we throw. The doors on the bus close. The bus explodes in a pillar of fire. The sun sets behind the mountain. The baba and I make love till morning. The sun rises from behind the mountain. A bus pulls up to the stop. The doors open. The baba gets on. We make eye contact one last time. I say, "I love you." She says, "Bole me fara." The doors close. The bus drives away. I wander the streets of Sofia, heartbroken. Stumbling around, I find myself in front of a building called Toplo Centrala. I walk upstairs. A comedy show is happening. I walk on stage, and I see all your beautiful faces. Thank you so much, guys.